welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed staring at a massive, endless spreadsheet, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, our mission is to totally demystify Excel's primary lookup functions. We're going to learn how to completely eliminate manual data entry and basically transform the way you work with data. Seriously, I want you to just picture this for a second. Imagine having a massive database with thousands, maybe tens of thousands of records. Now imagine needing to find just one specific piece of information and having to scroll, scan, and search through all of those rows entirely by hand. Just think about the pain, the eye strain, and the incredible amount of wasted time involved in digging through that mountain of data manually. It's a complete nightmare, right? It's inefficient, and frankly, it's completely unnecessary. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the magic of lookups, then break down VLOOKUP for vertical searches and HLOOKUP for horizontal ones. After that, we'll dive into the modern upgrade, XLOOKUP. And finally, we'll see these real-world lookups in action. All right, part one, the magic of lookups. So what actually is a lookup function? At its core, a lookup function is basically a tool that hunts down specific information from a table, and then, here's the best part, returns related values back to you completely automatically. I really want to emphasize that word, absolutely automatically. You just give Excel a tiny clue, and it instantly searches the entire database and retrieves exactly what you need without you having to lift another finger. Okay, let's dive right into this. Where do we actually use this magic in our everyday professional lives? Honestly, the applications are endless. If you work in HR, you're definitely using them for employee records. In sales or marketing, they're totally vital for navigating giant customer databases and massive product lists. And in finance, they are literally the backbone of complex banking reports. Basically, anywhere there is data, lookups are your new best friend. Moving on to part two, VLOOKUP, or the vertical search. Now, VLOOKUP simply stands for vertical lookup, and the absolute most important thing to keep in mind here is the direction. It searches for data vertically, meaning it scans top to bottom straight down the very first column of your selected table. Now, what's really interesting about this setup is the layout required for a vertical search. We've got an ID column on the left, 101, 102, 103, and a name column on the right with Ram, Hari, and Sita. Because our IDs are listed vertically, right down that first column, this is exactly the scenario where VLOOKUP shines. Excel is just going to look straight down that ID column to find our match. Let's translate this Excel speak into, human speak. We're typing equals VLOOKUP and then giving Excel its instructions. We're essentially saying, hey Excel, search for ID number 102. Look for it inside this specific box of cells from A2 to B4. When you find 102, slide over to the second column, which, by the way, is why we put a number 2 right there, and give me the exact name you find. That false at the end? That just means we want an exact match, no guessing allowed. And boom, the result? Excel instantly retrieves the name Hari. Next up, part 3, HLOOKUP, or the horizontal search. So, HLOOKUP stands for horizontal lookup. It's the exact same concept as VLOOKUP, but we're flipping the direction 90 degrees. Instead of searching vertically down a column, HLOOKUP searches for data horizontally, moving left to right across your rows. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Look at how this dataset is arranged. We don't have our categories going down the left side anymore. Instead, our months, January, February, and March, are spread out horizontally across the top row, with the numerical data resting right underneath them. Because our search targets are in a row, VLOOKUP would totally fail here. We absolutely need that horizontal approach. Here's how we actually tell Excel to do that. The formula is equals HLOOKUP. Back to human speak, we're saying, Excel, sweep left to right across the very top row until you spot the word Feb. Look within this specific area of cells from A1 to C2. Once you find Feb, drop down to the second row, that's the number 2 in our formula, and give me exactly what is in that cell. Excel sweeps across the top, hits February, drops down one level, and perfectly returns our result, 1200. All right, on to part 4, XLOOKUP, the modern upgrade. Now, both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP are great, don't get me wrong, but they definitely have their limitations. Enter the superhero upgrade that kind of changes everything. Let's put them head to head. On one side, we have the classic VLOOKUP. It's a bit rigid, right? It strictly searches vertically, and it can absolutely only search in the very first column of your table, always moving left to right. But on the other side, we have XLOOKUP. This is the sleek, modern replacement designed to completely smash those restrictions. XLOOKUP can search in literally any direction. So, The crucial point is, why is XLOOKUP so much better? First off, it's just plain easier to use. You can finally stop counting columns or rows. Second, like we just said, it searches left or right, up or down. It genuinely doesn't matter where your search column is located. Third, it's inherently more accurate right out of the box. And finally, it's incredibly forgiving. It handles missing values way better than the older formulas ever could. Just look at how wonderfully clean and simple this formula is compared to what we saw earlier. Equals XLOOKUP. All we're telling Excel now is look for ID 102, search for it in this specific column here from A2 to A4. When you find it, give me whatever is right next to it in this other column from B2 to B4. That's it. No confusing column numbers to count, no typing false at the very end just to force an exact match. You simply point to where you want to search, point to what you want back, and you instantly get our result. Hurry. Seriously, what a relief, right? It is so incredibly streamlined. Finally, part 5, real-world lookups in action. Let's move to and see how this builds in reality. Here's a practical workflow you'll see constantly in finance and banking reports. It's an incredibly simple but wildly powerful process. Step 1, you use your lookup function to search a massive database for a unique customer ID number. Step 2, Excel instantly does all the heavy lifting and returns the exact customer name associated with that account. You type a number, you get a name. Bam, instant verification. And you see this exact same input to output relationship across other departments too. HR pros rely on this constantly. They enter an employee ID, and the lookup function automatically pulls the employee's specific department. Sales teams use it every single day. They type a product code into an invoice, and Excel automatically grabs the correct price from the master pricing sheet. It automates those essential everyday departmental tasks and totally eliminates human error in the process. All right, let's quickly summarize what we've covered in this explainer. We started with the foundational vertical searches of VLOOKUP. Then, we flipped things sideways with the horizontal capabilities of HLOOKUP. After that, we unlocked the modern, flexible power of XLOOKUP. And finally, we saw exactly how these functions translate to real-world examples across different industries. Make no mistake, these are absolutely some of the most powerful and frequently used tools in all of Excel. So you now have the power to instantly retrieve data from massive spreadsheets. You've officially mastered Excel's lookup functions and seriously leveled up your automation skills. But what about organizing and summarizing all that data to find hidden trends? Well, that requires a completely different tool. Are you ready to conquer pivot tables next? Keep this.
Thanks for listening, dropping by, getting high on my vibe.